It's all right. I'm Greg, and I'm based in Singapore. I'm part of the AP consumer team managing the premium yoga category.
Excellent. We have a special guest.
By virtue of being Australian, my name's Chris Osborne. I run the Australian consumer business today and New Zealand, so yeah, local touch.
Well, I've got a question to kick off with. When are we going to see all these devices in the region and in Australia?
As soon as you can get it on the shelf. When's the target date for ship support?
Okay, by ship support, it's an internal term, like when we can start shipping out the products, right? So it should land in country just in time for tax season, which is approximately around May to July period. Yeah.
So just before the all those end of financial year sales opportunities.
Yeah.
Very good. So just weeks.
So last year you introduced the dual screen yoga. How have you found, particularly the APAC market has responded to dual screen computers? What have people wanted out of that? Why did you make it? Tell us more.
Sure, good question. I think I'll take that question, right? The Yoga Book brand was introduced not just last year, but for a while back. I think we had it on an Android platform as well as a Windows platform, maybe around like 5-6 years ago.
With two screens or just as the yoga
book?
book?
One screen, but on the bottom screen is a virtual keyboard, or otherwise the newer iteration then was an e-ink bottom screen. Mm-hmm. Whereas we decided to revive this whole yoga book story, or this proposition of the product, because we realized that at this point in time we have the right technology to allow this to happen. I think one of the key things, if you notice, right, for the first gen, it's just just buttons that's lit up. It's not exactly a display. On the second gen, we used e-ink back then. It's because e-ink has a wide viewing angle, and more importantly, it doesn't starve from the batteries, right? So this time around, we went with OLED displays, and the reason, in fact, the product that you saw was like 2 or 3 years in the making. We tried different display technologies like a typical LCD, IPS display, and it just didn't make the cut when it comes to viewing angles. Because when you're using a laptop, for example, in different modes and all, and when you place a laptop further away from you, once it's off angle, the display would be affected. That's one thing. Secondly, it would be on battery technology, because as much as it's OLED, it's supposed to consume less power when it's producing dark scenes, right? But with battery, is something that we cannot stinge on, because it's 2 displays instead of 1. Yeah. So we got to work on, we got to wait for the technology to mature, where it allows for higher density battery to be packed in the machine. So to your question on what's the reception like, right, across Asia Pacific, I think it's overwhelmingly good. For a period of time, we had backlogs that we tried to fulfill, and we finally managed to negotiate for higher production capacity. And I think right now, when we see our competitors coming in with a similar offering, I think it's just a testament that there's a segment for such a product. Yeah.
Can I follow up on that?
Please do.
Yeah. So with the reception that you say it got, why did you go and look at re-engineering? I believe was the word that was used on stage. What did you change with the new one?
You mean with regard to re-engineer?
That's I've written down re-engineering, so I thought that was the word that was used.
Oh no. Some products are re-engineered. For example, Yoga 9 2-in-1, definitely re-engineered. It looks totally different, right? 10%, smaller 10%, lighter and all. But with regard to Yoga Book series, I think for that product, it is in our own means. There's so much more we could tap on the previous design. And bear in mind, the previous design was released less than a year ago. As much as it was announced in CES 2023, right? Yeah, 2023. It started going on shelf in April or May. And that's when it's only towards probably when you go on shelf, you need users to use it, then we collect feedback and all. It would take some time. But as we all know, the new Intel Core Ultra technologies that allows for a lot similar performance, slightly better performance, but improving battery life significantly. We didn't want to be out of the conversation or not on the bandwagon. So for this time around, what we did was, instead on top of just changing the CPU, we increased the amount of memory in the product up to 32 gigabytes. we have also refreshed the accessories pack, so they're all color matched. And lastly as well, we have also made significant improvement in terms of battery life, of up to 35% generation on generation with a dual screen setup. So I think all in all, it may appear like it looks identical, but there are many things underneath it. And just in case I forgot, right? The other big difference on the yoga book, it hit me, but it left.
Well, it's got the Intel Core Ultra chip, so it's got the built-in
the
AI.
NPU and GPU.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why didn't you put a Copilot key on the keyboard?
Oh yes, good question.
Yeah.
On the production unit that you'll receive for review eventually, we'll have the Copilot key.
Right.
Yeah, because what you saw earlier is a
Pre-demo.
Yeah, pre-demo of a development product. Yeah, but it will receive the Copilot key. In fact, all new shipments of yoga products will have the Copilot key, and we're so on board on that. Yeah.
One thing that I haven't heard anybody do, which would be, I mean, it's nice that you're giving away 2 or 3 months of Adobe for free, for example, which is nice. But I mean, once 2 or 3 months is gone, that's it. It's not forever, sort of thing. One thing that would be nice is if Lenovo, with all of its power as the number one maker of PCs, could say to Microsoft, let's give a year of Copilot Pro away for free, because that's $30, $33 Australian a month. That would be something useful, really useful, more than just a couple of months. I mean, do that. I mean, every other manufacturer will then want to copy that, but you can be the first. Think about it.
I think that's great feedback. Definitely, we are looking at ways of how we can enhance the user experience right out of the box.
Yeah, because the first thing that's going to happen after you hit the Copilot key, it's going to say Copilot Pro. Click here to buy. That's what it says. It now says that when you so it's like, it's great and everything, but Microsoft wants more money out of me.
It's like a paid ad on a smart TV, right?
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
Thanks, Craig.
You want to do first?
I have many questions. But
Okay, no, that's fine. The question I've got is maybe a bit too technical. I'm not sure you guys are able to answer this. It's to do with the hardware calibration of the displays. Now, at factory, I guess you guys, I'm not sure if you know, are they done per display? And if it is done, where is that file stored in BIOS for the color profile, or does it have a different place it lives on Windows, which if we decide to format it, will it carry upon the next instance of that Windows?
As it was said in the presentation, that it remembers the color profile.
How does it do it?
Yeah, no. I'm just saying. I wasn't answering for them. I was just saying, like they were saying in the presentation. How is that done? Yeah.
This is very important, especially when you have commercial computers where they'll just get a computer back, they'll re-image the computer, and that's just like, okay, we've just ballooned the color profile. If it's not stored in a particular place, we need to remember where it's stayed.
Yeah.
I think that's a very great question, especially when we're trying to address the varying needs of creators, right? So I think when we shared today, there's PureSight Pro and PureSight OLED. The biggest between both of them, obviously, is the display technology, but beyond that, in terms of attributes, it's similar, right? You get higher refresh rates, you get DCI-P3 100%, color gamut and color space. But apart from all those, the key differences between Pro and OLED would be like what you've mentioned, or highlighted hardware color calibration. Yeah. The calibration profiles are stored within the device in BIOS. So if you were to reset it or maybe hand it down to someone else, the color profile will still be there.
Okay, cool. That's good. Because a lot of businesses buy, especially creative when they create a business, they'll do a lot of imaging now these days, not just like to buy. So.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm curious about the AI side of things that you've been pushed. It's been pushed a lot. What's the consumer feedback though on AI? How big do you feel like it is? Is there a variance between a market like Australia and some of the other markets you're dealing with here in Asia Pacific about the importance of AI and how much is actually desired by consumers?
Do you mention AI PC?
I'm just wondering what the consumer demand for AI. It's obviously been pushed a lot, but are you seeing a difference in the demand for AI?
I think it's hard to talk about it, right? I mean, everybody's picked up on ChatGPT, BART and everything else, but the consumer doesn't know what is coming really. I mean, we've got the Ultra launch back in December. That gives you a starting point in terms of they're talking about the use cases, but there's more to come, and that will come in the back end of the year. A lot more to come.
And I guess, yeah, is Australia specifically as opposed to a lot of the other nations that are...
Yeah, I think the uptake will be huge as soon as it's more broadly known in terms of the offers. And we can't talk about offers and what's happening or what's coming, but I would say that there's a lot to get excited about in the next few months. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned 100 different software vendors that you were working with to create AI applications. I mean, that's the big thing. If you really could do ChatGPT on your Intel Core Ultra, you wouldn't have NVIDIA on stage announcing $30,000, to $50,000 chips. You still need that to do the ChatGPT level stuff, but there's various things that you can do locally. But are there any hints on what some of those 100 ISVs are working on, the apps, or is it all still secret?
I think you can use your imagination on what that is. I mean, it's how we engage, how we talk to people. Imagine a phone call with somebody in a foreign nation where you don't speak the language and you're talking in English, and that's directly translated on the other end of the screen. A Japanese person or whoever is talking back to you in their native tongue and you're hearing it in English. There'll be a lot of barriers that get broken down when that comes to life. I think there'll be a lot, but it's just how big is your imagination?
But I think it takes time for the ISV to enhance how we can utilize the NPU that built into the Core Ultra to make sure that how we empower the AI features and make even the calculations or the processing even more effective. But it takes time because every once we need to fine-tune the software, make sure all the software they are designed to utilize the NPU and how they can optimize the AI features within the program as well. But we are seeing the trends, and we expect that this will be keep growing in this year, and by end of this year, I believe the more, and as what you mentioned, more and more, I don't have numbers, but more and more features, or more and more the ISV, they will have to utilize the NPU built-in in our laptops.
Maybe I could add on that, right? I mean, Intel's been working with up to 100 ISVs, and right now they have more than 300 feature sets. And some of the feature set it's already baked into Windows itself, like Windows Studio Effects, which will be released towards mid this year on Yoga series laptops that are running on the Intel Core Ultra processor. Like I shared, Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Premiere is already accelerated for the Intel Core Ultra processor that uses the NPU, and Audacity, the audio editing application. There are some filters and additional plugins that allows for audio separation. So for example, if you play your music, it could use the NPU, if it's the NPU to sort of like to split the vocals from drums, from bass, the bass in that music. So I think there's many new use cases and new creative ways to sort of like enhance the whole user experience, especially for creators.
So while we're talking about AI, the new Lenovo Gen AI app sounds really cool. What data set, like what data was that app trained on?
Creator Zone.
Yeah, Creator Zone. Yeah. So the Lenovo Creator Zone is in preview, and definitely we won't be rolling it out now. I think we are scheduled it for late 2024. So definitely we would ensure that what data set that we're using is compliant with all the standards and the standards that our parent company adheres to. So for now, we will definitely have plans to ensure that we're compliant to that. Thus, it's in preview and not commercially available or loaded on any of our machines.
So will that mean the final version will have avoided using, say, copyrighted material? Like it will be using material that's just allowed to be used for AI, has been marked specifically, or are you just kind of trolling?
I think it's something that we could maybe. We're not the subject expert with regard to the creator zone design and development, but definitely it's something that we can. Yeah, follow up with you on. Maybe you can take that. We can take that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be great. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I'm so sorry, I'm going to ask more questions about Creator Zone.
Yeah.
So, between the Creator Zone, the Intel AI Boost app, Microsoft Copilot, there's so many different overlapping layers of AI apps kind of coming in. Do you think consumers will get confused by that? And how do you think there's a way to actually communicate which tool is best for the job, I guess?
I think we're in the stage where inclusion of AI in products, be it Lenovo products, any other vendors' products, right? It's still at its infancy, and definitely all of us have been working on coming up with AI technologies to enhance the user experience, be whether it's assistive or generative AI. So our stance on this is that our corporate strategy is to drive AI for all, from the cloud all the way to the computing device that lands in your hand, consumer's hands, right? So our take on AI is that it has to be built on a naturalized user interface, a language model supported, and also security and privacy is key. And speaking of security and privacy, this is something that at least at Lenovo we take a lot of we believe that security and privacy is the utmost something that we cannot take for granted, and we definitely bake that in our product. So like Creator Zone, that what you've seen earlier on, we have models that are built for local rendering and also for online models that are stored in device or stored in the cloud. So I think that's a key differentiator, because they're reference point that is stored within locally and also from the cloud. Yeah. So this
we have add-ons for the Creator Zones.
Yeah.
We know that we have lots of, not only the Creator Zone, but all the AI software. But from the Lenovo perspective, what we are doing, not only for software, but also for hardware, is how we can enhance the customer experience. So if you compare the Creator Zones, we are having a much easier and user-friendly interface to make sure all the customers, the real end user, they can use generative AI easily.
So the idea is you can offer a better experience, a better version of these functions.
Right. So some of the features that that was mentioned on stage would be in the future. Exactly what was shared was Creator Zone and its features will be released in phases starting late 2024 in select markets across Asia Pacific. So the Creator Zone is not like an app that we release once and then it comes with this set of features. It'll be extended. So one of the features that we know that we will be baking in would be local image model training. So I think this is something that would be quite different, right, from what's available, at least without having to purchase like the expensive AI devices today. Yeah.
Just two quick clarifications there. With generating images with the Creator Zone, is there anything in the terms of service that would sort of cover, does Lenovo own the images that you would create using that app?
I think that question is similar to what was posted. I think we can follow up on that separately.
That's okay. And then the other one was just, so is Creator Zone, is that intended to be a free thing, or is that intended to be a thing that you charge for by subscription fee?
For the Creator Zone, we start to let the Lenovo customers to download to their laptops in late 2024, as what Greg was sharing. So it will be free for Lenovo user on selected in selected market on the
on select yoga machines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Free forever?
Free.
You said select markets. There was a couple of other things in the presentation about select markets. Where does Australia sit on that?
Are we selected?
We don't have the market list here currently, but we are working with the worldwide teams together with different functional departments to try our best to include as much as market in Asia Pacific as we can. But I can't tell you the market list right now.
What's the factors that would prevent something from being selected?
I think we have quite a lot of the different factors, no matter for the, let me think.
I think, as mentioned, product is still in preview. Sorry if I interrupt. Right, product is still in preview. So in terms of modeling and accuracy and all, in fact, it's not. We haven't even got that part, that first tier finalized and locked down. So it's definitely still in development. And in fact, in more the demos that you've seen earlier, we've kind of like we would take on your suggestions and we input them ourselves, because we still have to train the model in such a way that it gives accurate, precise, localized, and meaningful results. So that's one thing that on that piece that we couldn't commit on the release schedule by markets, but definitely, as with every software project, right, our software development team, there will be timeline, there'll be key milestones that they would have to meet, and some of the markets have some markets which we are still working on to finalize might potentially have a late 2024, but it's not non-committal from anybody. So we can't comment further on the availability in Australia. But you'll be first to know for sure. Maybe you could take note of that as soon as it's available. It'll be available on OTA, over-the-air update. So for example, even if you purchase a machine today, it doesn't come with anything, you can always download it off Lenovo Vantage, or if not, on support.lenovo.com.
I just have one more question about creators then.
Yeah. It's all right, go ahead. We've got time, I think, right?
About 4 minutes left, so we're 2 more questions.
Okay, so it's work in progress, I understand. There's been lots of stories in the news with OpenAI and Google around bad actors using AI to generate non-consensual images, misinformation and stuff like that. Are you thinking much about safeguards and how bad actors might use your technology?
I think one of the considerations is definitely that is giving us a timeline that is at least late 2024. Yeah, that's one of the considerations.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but following on from Creator Zone still,
Yeah.
in the announcement they talked about how people can train Creator Zone on their own data sets to make things. Will those data sets remain local, or is you also uploading your work to the larger data set?
Sure. The Cradle Zone is designed to be security and privacy focused, so all the image trained will be stored locally.
Great.
Yeah.
But could you upload it to the cloud?
You could
to-
potentially do that,
if you
but
wanted to.
well, primarily it's local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can take one more question, and Brian, if you have one, or Chris, go ahead.
Well, just kind of this question just will clarify then. So obviously, if you're looking at late 2024, potentially into 2025 for some markets, going to be getting close to the next iteration of the hardware. So is everything now hardware-wise going to be able to work with what you're looking to position for potentially 2025?
Yeah, Creator Zone is available, and its feature set will be released in phases, right? So definitely we're looking at how we could democratize the access to this software, be it whether it's a standard UMA offering or not a machine with a dedicated graphics. So the image training model, like I've shared previously on stage, right, is only available with machines that meets certain computational power, like the RTX 3050 or 40, I can't recall. 40 series and above. So in this case, like since the product is meant to be to democratize access, so even future iterations of Creator Zone would have to ensure that the previous version of it is could work with the previous generation of products would work with future generations of the software.
So the hardware that you buy today won't be outdated.
That'd be like the baseline, if you like to put it. Yeah.
Okay.
But it might be outdated by in 2 or 3 years, because it's just the way tech goes. You can't expect it's going to work with newer stuff forever.
But considering the announcements today, specifically.
Yeah. It'll get better, for sure. Yeah.
If no one else has anything, I can do a fun one, which is you showed a transparent OLED laptop at MWC last month. Is there any plans to move forward with that concept? What was the reception like?
Oh, that one, right? I think then when we showed it on MWC, it's more of a tech demo. I believe I think it's a tech demo to show that we're looking at ways on how we could create more innovative and ways of how a computing device would be like, and I think as shown in some of the videos, right, the many people have concerns or some suggestions on suggestions, right, on the use cases and all. So I think it's definitely something that we for us to even develop that demo right there, definitely we need to study what the consumer needs are, the customer needs are, and all. And definitely we can't comment on future products, for sure. And what we show at MWC is just to reiterate our commitment, right, to driving new innovative products and technologies into our to our consumer products, our enterprise products, and all. Yeah.
We want to see a Yoga 9 transparent dual screen book next year.
Good suggestion, right? Good suggestion. I think we can take that in for sure. And my product team will be, hard pressed.
I think as long as we can provide it a better experience.
Yeah, it's not about the experience.
Better experience to the customers.
Yeah.
We have a lot of the conceptual products actually,
yes.
lots of them, even though they didn't disclose to the public.
Yeah.
But as long as we...
No. Maybe tonight, right? Over. But no, definitely not.